Welcome back to the channel. Today we will explore a sensitive and very interesting topic: black actresses who have had plastic surgery and regretted it. In the world of Hollywood, where appearance is often a priority, many stars have chosen to go under the knife to maintain their beauty. But not everyone feels satisfied in the end. Some have bravely spoken out about their unsatisfactory experiences, thereby spreading a strong message about loving yourself and accepting what is most natural. So, who are they, and what do they regret? Let's find out right away. Have you ever thought about plastic surgery or know someone who regretted it? If so, comment number 1. If you have never had or don't know anyone like that, comment number 0. Enjoy the video and don't forget to leave a sub to support the channel. It will help me have more motivation to share more interesting content. Vanessa Williams made history when she became the first black woman to be crowned Miss America in 1984. It was more than just a pageant victory, it was a cultural breakthrough. Her warm smile, radiant complexion, and confident demeanor made her an icon, representing an era where diversity on stage was still rare. But just months later, scandals surrounding past nude photos of her forced her to relinquish her crown. While many predicted the end of her career, Vanessa Williams proved them all wrong. She turned to acting and music, landing roles in Soul Food, Eraser, and Ugly Betty. However, Hollywood is a cruel industry, especially for women who dare to age. By her late 40s, Vanessa Williams was facing a harsh reality where the industry's attention was increasingly focused on younger actresses. Wrinkles, criticism of her appearance, and intense scrutiny from the camera created a constant pressure. Her old image, gentle, natural, and elegant, has now become a faded memory alongside the unfortunate changes in her appearance. These comments, while harsh, highlight an undeniable truth. Vanessa Williams has not only lost her wrinkles, but also her very essence. However, Vanessa Williams' talent has never faded. Her presence on stage and in music still resonates, proving that she is more than just a pretty face. She continues to act, sing, and even perform on Broadway. Unfortunately, public attention often shifts from her work to the changes in her appearance. Vanessa Williams' interviews reveal a woman fully aware of the passage of time, sometimes candid about the pressures she faces. While she has never publicly discussed all of her procedures, her journey reflects the complex relationship between fame, beauty, and personal struggle. But the photographs and changes in public appearances speak volumes. What makes Vanessa's journey so heartbreaking is the irony she faces. She broke barriers not by conforming to a mold, but by breaking it. Her natural beauty made her an unforgettable icon in the 1980s, but decades later, in an effort to preserve her youth, she became almost unrecognizable. In the mid-1990s, Vivica A. Fox burst onto the scene with her breakout role in Independence Day 1996, opposite Will Smith. By the early 2000s, she cemented her place in the industry with her role in Kill Bill Volume 1, 2003. Proving that she was more than just a pretty face, she had undeniable talent and charisma. Her sharp features, confident smile, and captivating charm made Vivica A. Fox one of the most sought-after black actresses of her generation. However, Hollywood is a brutal industry where time moves faster for women. As Vivica entered her 40s, the acting offers dwindled. Casting directors began looking for younger stars, pushing her into the shadows of an industry where women are often dismissed as soon as wrinkles appear. Instead of being celebrated for her talent and experience, Fox found herself judged for the lines on her face. This feeling gradually rooted in her mind, leading her to seek cosmetic procedures to maintain her youthful appearance. Botox flattened her forehead, and fillers made her cheeks appear fuller. At first, the changes seemed subtle and charming, preserving her natural beauty. But by the 2010s, the differences in her face began to become more pronounced. Her cheekbones became unnaturally full, her lips hardened, and her once warm, welcoming smile began to look strained. Critics and tabloids were quick to post comparison photos, fueling rumors that she had gone too far. Instead of focusing on her work, public discussion increasingly revolved around Viveka's changing appearance. The relentless public scrutiny may have pushed Viveka A. Fox further down the path of plastic surgery. With each intervention to try to reverse her previous changes, she sank deeper. Viveka has spoken out about some of the rumors, admitting to some minor adjustments, but insisting that she has not lost control. But public perception paints a much harsher story. By her late 50s, fans on social media began commenting that she looked frozen or stiff, obscuring the fact that she was still actively producing films and appearing on television. What was once admired has now become a source of pity, a cruel irony for a woman who has built her career on strength and confidence. Despite public criticism and scorn, Viveka has continued to reinvent herself. She hosts reality TV shows, produces independent projects, and has become a prominent voice in pop culture commentary. Her resilience proves she refuses to fade away. But the clearest evidence remains in her image. The natural beauty that once captivated the big screen has been slowly altered by time and pressure. Viveka's journey is not only a story of vanity, but also a profound reflection of the harsh reality of the entertainment industry. It is a place where women, no matter how talented and once honored, can be replaced by wrinkles. Viveka was once a symbol of charm and charisma, but now the public views her through the prism of age and plastic surgery. This shift not only overshadows talent, but also exposes the truth that beauty in the eyes of Hollywood is often temporary, and women, no matter how strong, still struggle to maintain a foothold in that world. What do you think about celebrities publicly announcing their plastic surgery? If you support transparency and think it is the right thing to do, comment number 2. If you have never had or don't know anyone like that, comment number 0. Enjoy the video and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming exciting topics. Wendy Williams has built a media empire with her sharp, candid, unfiltered voice. Before The Wendy Williams Show became a television phenomenon, she was a popular radio host known for her bold style and willingness to share celebrity gossip and secrets. Her honesty and no-nonsense approach quickly won her the trust and attention of a wide audience.
By the late 2000s, Wendy's talk show had become a venue for candid, sometimes brutal conversations that attracted millions of viewers every day. With her nearly 6'10" height, authoritative demeanor, and signature wigs, Wendy became an unmistakable and recognizable figure on screen. However, behind her confident exterior, she struggled with deep insecurities. Unlike many stars who turn to plastic surgery when their careers begin to decline, Wendy decided to change her appearance while still at the height of her fame, as a way to maintain her appeal and control her own image in the public eye. In the 1990s, she underwent breast augmentation surgery, which she proudly shared was the secret to achieving the fuller figure required for television. She later opted for liposuction to slim down and balance out her figure. Initially, these decisions made her feel stronger and more confident. Wendy often shared on her show how she achieved her desired look. However, over the years, the surgeries transformed from an act of self-affirmation to a fight for survival. The pressure to maintain her appearance, especially as a woman running a visual media platform, forced her to undergo repeated surgeries. Botox stiffened Wendy's expressions, fillers altered her natural features, and rhinoplasty disrupted the symmetry she once had. By the 2010s, viewers began to notice visible changes in her appearance. Wendy's face became puffy, her body proportions were unbalanced, and her once bright smile was obscured by swelling and stiffness. Her internal struggles, combined with a troubled marriage to Kevin Hunter that ended in betrayal and public scandal, took a serious toll on her mental health. Instead of seeking healing, Wendy continued to pursue surgical transformation, hoping that a new face could open a new chapter. But the more she changed, the less recognizable she became, and she no longer resembled the vivacious host audiences once loved. What makes Wendy's story so tragic is that she was never defined solely by her looks. It was her wit, her boldness, and her ability to connect with her audience that made Wendy Williams a unique host. But as she gradually succumbed to Hollywood's harsh standards of youth and perfection, Wendy lost the very personality that made her shine. Fans who once laughed and cried with her now silently marvel at her transformation, sometimes forgetting that she was once a woman who dared to speak the truth when no one else did. Wendy Williams remains an icon in entertainment history, not only because she hosted one of America's most popular talk shows, but also because of the profound lessons she learned in her own life. Wendy's story is a reminder that the price of pursuing youth is not just measured in surgeries and scars, but also in the fading of one's identity. In the battle between fame and the pressure to maintain her image, Wendy has left a legacy: candor, courage, and human failings. As the disconnect between her true self and the reflection in the mirror grew, Lisa Ray McCoy was once a Hollywood beauty icon with her elegant and sophisticated features. After her breakthrough role in Players Club, 1998, she was quickly hailed as one of the most naturally beautiful black actresses. However, behind the spotlight, Lisa Ray was not immune to life's ups and downs and industry pressures, leading to major changes in her appearance and public image. In 2006, she married Michael, then Prime Minister of Turks and Caicos, in a fairy tale marriage that many dreamed of. However, the marriage quickly fell apart, clouded by allegations of infidelity, adultery, and public scandal. The divorce in 2008 left Lisa Ray deeply hurt and financially devastated. Although she continued her career, she faced the brutal double standards that Hollywood imposes on women, who are expected to be youthful, perfect, and attractive despite the turmoil they endure in their personal lives. This pressure led her to undergo plastic surgery. She initially opted for a nose job to create sharper lines and a more refined look. But the results were a complete departure from her naturally soft beauty, making her facial features appear more rigid. She soon underwent additional procedures, including a chin reshaping to lengthen her jawline, cheek fillers to restore fullness, and lip surgery, which altered the once symmetrical smile she once had. Each surgery promised to bring strength, but the results created a mask that distanced Lisa Ray from the image her fans once admired. By 2010, her public appearances had left fans stunned. Instead of the glamorous star they remembered from Players Club or All of Us, they saw a woman with smooth, stiff features that looked unnatural. Critics noted that her face had lost its expressiveness. Her cheeks looked too hard, her lips uneven, and her pointed chin no longer matched the natural beauty she once had. Online forums were quick to spread comparison photos, lamenting the transformation of a woman once celebrated for her natural radiance.
What makes Lisa Ray's story particularly heartbreaking is the motivation behind these changes. She wasn't just chasing fame. She fell victim to Hollywood's harsh standards of beauty. This transformation wasn't simply a personal choice, but a reflection of an industry that relentlessly demands perfection, no matter the cost. Lisa Ray battled her inner demons, her pain, and her desire to maintain control while her world seemed to be falling apart. For Lisa Ray, plastic surgery was not just about beauty, but also a survival tactic, helping her face her inner turmoil and rewrite her own story in the mirror. However, the results left her lost between her true self and the image she once dreamed of becoming. Despite this, Lisa Ray persevered and continued to act, appear on reality TV shows, and attend public events, firmly walking on her journey despite all the challenges. Once a symbol of natural beauty, Lisa Ray McCoy has become a testament to the relentless pressures of Hollywood, where perfection is placed above all else, sacrificing not only a woman's beauty, but also her identity. Her journey is a poignant reminder of the price paid for pursuing perfection in the cutthroat world of entertainment. NeNe Leakes is more than just a reality TV star, she's a phenomenon. She rose to fame in 2008 on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, quickly taking the spotlight with her infectious laugh and sharp repartee. However, Hollywood is harsh on talent as well as looks, and by 2010, NeNe began to receive criticism for her appearance, officially admitting to having a nose job to accentuate her facial features. It seemed like a simple adjustment at first, but fans were quick to notice the changes. A higher bridge and slimmer tip changed the expression on her once round face. Not stopping at her nose, she also underwent liposuction and breast reduction surgery, continuing her pursuit of reinvention. However, with each change, NeNe seemed to drift further away from the natural beauty and warmth that fans fell in love with at first sight. As her fame grew, so did NeNe's insecurities. Procedures like fillers and Botox were used to smooth her skin, but they also caused her face to lose its natural softness. Her cheeks became unnaturally high, her lips fuller, and her smile less natural. Fans who once admired her authenticity began to wonder, she doesn't look like NeNe at all. NeNe's personal life seemed to only exacerbate this transformation. Especially after her husband passed away from cancer in 2021, the pain NeNe experienced was unimaginable. For many fans, it seemed like every surgery and adjustment NeNe pursued was not just a vanity, but a way to cope, to control the one thing she could when life seemed out of her control. By the late 2010s, NeNe Leakes' appearance had changed so dramatically that side-by-side comparisons flooded social media. Her once expressive face seemed frozen, and the features that made her unique were now Hollywood perfect, but no longer reflective of her true self. Red carpet appearances were no longer met with admiration they once had, but instead with pitying glances and harsh criticism. She's still outspoken, funny, and empowering, but visually she's almost unrecognizable from the woman audiences fell in love with on RHOA. NeNe Leakes remains a pop culture icon despite the bittersweet moments in her legacy. She broke barriers for women of color in reality TV, turning her career platform into a comedy, acting, and business empire. Her face, however, tells a parallel story, one about the heavy toll that Hollywood beauty standards can take.
We come to Kim Fields, who grew up in the eyes of the American public as Tootie Ramsey on the popular sitcom The Facts of Life, becoming a household name as a teenager. With her bright smile, sparkling eyes, and natural charm, Kim brought the image of youthful innocence into millions of homes. In the 1980s and 1990s, fans envisioned her having a long and bright career ahead of her. However, Hollywood is often harsh on child stars, and once the camera stopped rolling, the transition from teenager to adult actress proved to be much more difficult than expected. As Kim entered her 20s, the roles that had once come easily to her began to dwindle. Although she continued to direct sitcom episodes and take on supporting roles, the once glorious spotlight faded. This could have marked the end of her public career until she found a second chance. In 2015, Kim Fields joined Real Housewives of Atlanta, marking her return to the public eye. For many fans, it was a nostalgic return to a familiar face. But reality TV brought a new kind of pressure. Her every line, wrinkle, and blemish was magnified under high-definition cameras and constant scrutiny on social media. Feeling pressured by this contrast, Kim began to seek cosmetic procedures. Some sources say Botox and fillers were the first steps she took to erase the signs of aging and maintain a competitive edge over her co-stars, many of whom sought a polished, almost doll-like appearance. At first, the changes seemed subtle: fuller lips, smoother skin, and slightly plumper cheeks. But the cycle didn't stop there. With each visit to the clinic, Kim's face drifted further and further from the radiant, youthful look that had once been her trademark. By the late 2010s, the transformation was unmistakable. Her cheeks had puffed into hard points, her lips were too full, and even her nose had undergone changes, leaving fans wondering if the charm they remembered had been masked by a veneer of plastic surgery. Viewers who once admired her authenticity now buzzed with talk about Kim's altered appearance, making her talent and charm seem secondary. Once a symbol of innocence and natural charm, she now faces the cost of altering her appearance in an unforgiving industry. Kim Fields is more than just an actress. She has a story behind the camera. What makes her journey so poignant is that she didn't enter Hollywood chasing fame, she was born into it. Unlike many stars who resort to plastic surgery to prolong their time in the spotlight, Kim Fields' path has been shaped by the weight of nostalgia. Tichina Arnold was never just a pretty face. She was a comedic force with a strong personality and a powerful screen presence. In the 1990s, audiences fell in love with her role as Pam in the series Martin, a sharp, quick-witted, and equally witty best friend. This role helped her cement her place in the hearts of fans as a talented actress, not just based on her looks. She then went on to captivate a new generation of audiences with her role as Rochelle in Everybody Hates Chris, a humorous, straightforward, and down-to-earth mother figure that further highlighted her versatility and depth of acting ability. Unlike many of her contemporaries, however, Tichina's career was not built solely on image, but on genuine talent and strong character. However, Hollywood remains ruthless to actresses as they enter their 40s. Casting calls for her began to dry up, and many roles were instead offered to younger actresses, leaving her facing stiff competition. Notably, during this difficult period, Tichina also suffered a great personal shock when her marriage tragically broke down, leaving her to battle both professional pressures and personal challenges. Through it all, Tichina Arnold remained strong, continuing to be a symbol of resilience and undeniable talent. For a woman who had already battled an industry that looked down on women as they got older, this was another blow. Around that time, fans began to notice changes in her appearance. Rumors spread that she had undergone rhinoplasty, Botox, and fillers. Her soft, expressive features now looked sharper and less natural. Her cheeks were puffier, her lips fuller, and her smile less easygoing. Some observers noted that the warmth that had made her characters relatable seemed to have disappeared. For Tichina Arnold, the irony is painfully obvious. The features that once allowed her to portray the image of an everyday woman, her expressive eyes and charming smile, have been overshadowed by the pursuit of youth. Tichina Arnold's appearance on screen in the late 2010s was notable not for her acting career, but for the noticeable changes to her face. The public seemed less interested in her acting career than in the transformations that made her look like a stranger. Behind her transformed appearance, however, is a resilient woman who continues to thrive. Tichina Arnold remains active in television and theater productions and has even branched out into music and political advocacy. She reminds fans that her legacy extends beyond aesthetics. However, her altered appearance is a quiet testament to the pressures that even the most humorous and talented women face. Tichina Arnold's story is about more than just her choices about appearance. It's about the collision of personal pain and professional insecurity. Once a shining gem of a comedic career, she has faced being reshaped by pain, betrayal, and an industry obsessed with perfection. In her quest to regain control, she lost the natural ease that is key to the timeless quality of her characters. Her journey is a reminder that behind the laughter and fame often lies a deep struggle with identity, a battle no scalpel can truly heal. In the 1990s, Trina McGee was a breath of fresh air on American television. Best known for her role as Angela Moore on Boy Meets World, she stood out for her elegance, intelligence, and quiet strength. Her character broke barriers, becoming one of the few black actresses to appear on a prime-time teen sitcom. Audiences embraced her as a sophisticated icon, admired for her natural beauty, delicate features, flawless skin, and unforgettable charm. However, as the years passed, the luster of that role began to fade. Hollywood has never been kind to actresses over 40, and Trina McGee is no exception. After a painful divorce in 2003, her career stalled, and she struggled with the harsh realities of an industry that values youth over experience. In an effort to revive her career, she turned to plastic surgery, hoping that looking younger would help her reopen doors that had long been closed. Her journey began with a nose job in the early 2010s, but the results were slightly uneven, narrower, and asymmetrical with the rest of her face. Determined not to give up, she continued to get Botox to smooth out her wrinkles, plump her cheeks, and plump her lips for a brighter smile. By the mid-2010s, Trina's appearance had changed dramatically from the woman audiences remembered in the 1990s. When Trina reappeared at events and meetings, fans were shocked. Her eyes seemed to be constantly wide open, as if in shock. Her cheeks were stiff, her lips were uneven, and her skin was so tight that it was almost expressionless.
Plastic surgery was Trina McGee's attempt to reinvent herself, but instead of opening doors, it seemed to close them even tighter. By the 2020s, Trina was appearing less in public, choosing privacy over harsh public scrutiny. Those who once admired her no longer recognized the woman they once loved. Trina McGee's story reveals the dark truth behind Hollywood's obsession with perfection, where the attempt to maintain identity can alter the very features that make a person different and special. Next comes LaToya Jackson, born into a legendary musical family, and as a member of the famous Jackson family, she had the opportunity to share the stage with siblings who helped shape popular culture. While Michael and Janet rose to superstardom, LaToya often lived in their shadow. From the beginning, comparisons were inevitable. Critics constantly measured her beauty and talent against her siblings' immense success, and each negative comment eroded her self-confidence. Above all, LaToya longed to step out of that shadow and create an identity of her own. In the mid-1980s, as Michael Jackson began to dramatically alter his appearance, LaToya decided to undergo surgery as well. In 1987, she underwent her first rhinoplasty, marking the beginning of a series of changes. The initial results were not what she had hoped for. Instead of enhancing her features, her nose became significantly smaller. But LaToya did not stop there, believing that more procedures would give her the look she had always wanted. Her chin was reshaped,
her cheeks were injected with fillers, and her skin was tightened, creating an almost artificial appearance. The story becomes even more tragic when her personal life is affected. In 1989, LaToya married Jack Gordon, her manager, who controlled and abused her for years. Gordon forced her to pose for Playboy magazine and threatened her family if she resisted. Under such oppressive control, she resorted to plastic surgery as a way to change her image and her reality. Each surgery became a desperate attempt to escape her pain and reclaim her identity. By the 1990s and 2000s, LaToya's public appearances shocked and stunned fans. She became a symbol of unrecognizable change, a transformation that not everyone could easily accept. Her career and appearance became a painful lesson in the price of Hollywood's pursuit of perfection. LaToya's once delicate nose had all but disappeared. Her chin jutted out unnaturally, and her cheeks swelled as if molded from wax. LaToya's transformation, however, is perhaps the most heartbreaking, as it seems driven not just by fame, but also by survival. While she finally breaks free from Gordon's control and attempts to rebuild her career, her physical changes remain a permanent reminder of the years she has endured. Viewers no longer see the naturally radiant woman she once was. Instead, they see a woman who has been transformed into something almost unrecognizable. Yet she remains a key figure in the cultural conversation. Her name will forever be associated with one of the most famous families in entertainment history. Her face, however, tells a different story, one of identity lost in the pursuit of individuality and perfection. If you find LaToya Jackson's journey moving and thought-provoking, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more interesting stories.
Patti LaBelle is more than just a singer. She's an icon. With a career spanning more than 6 decades, her soaring voice, charismatic stage presence, and regal beauty have made Patti one of the most admired women in music. From LaBelle's Lady Marmalade in the 1970s to her powerful ballads of the 1980s and 1990s, Patti has built a musical legacy that few artists can match. As Patti entered her 60s, the natural signs of aging began to appear: wrinkles, sagging skin, and a sagging jawline. For an artist who had spent decades in the spotlight, facing these changes in front of cameras and public scrutiny was certainly difficult. In the mid-2000s, it was reported that Patti had undergone rhinoplasty and some minor facial procedures. What may have seemed like small improvements at first inadvertently altered the natural balance of her features. Her nose became smaller and sharper, and fans quickly noticed the change. Driven by a desire to maintain her youthful glow, Patti LaBelle began using fillers and Botox. Her once soft cheeks became fuller, almost stiff, and her forehead lost its natural expression. Even her once delicate lips began to look uneven. When Patti returned to the stage, her voice was still beautiful, but her face became the center of conversation, even overshadowing her music. On stage, she could still hit notes younger singers could only dream of and silence an audience with the power of her voice. But the emotional connection between her performance and the audience was diminished by a face that no longer conveyed depth.
Critics and fans mourned, not because her voice had faded, but because they mourned the loss of the natural expressions that once amplified each word. Despite the whispers, Patti persevered. She continued to tour, record, and even found success in the culinary and television industries. Her confidence never wavered, proving that she was not defined by her appearance alone. However, images of her surgically altered face are a constant reminder that even the strongest and most talented women can feel pressure. Patti LaBelle's story is not one of failure, but of contradiction. She is still a musical goddess, but her face bears the marks of a battle against aging. And these are candid shares from actresses of color who have undergone plastic surgery and regretted it. Each story is a reminder that true beauty lies not in perfection, but in accepting and loving yourself. If you found this video helpful or have a new perspective, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.